Cannibalism is the act of consuming another individual of the same species. The rate of cannibalism increases in nutritionally poor environments, as individuals turn to one another as an additional food source. Despite some pop culture references, cannibalism does not occur only as a result of extreme food shortage or of artificial and unnatural conditions. But it is a common ecological interaction in the animal kingdom and has been recorded in more than 1,500 species. This video will look at 3 unique forms of cannibalism that are seldomly documented in mainstream media. In utero, cannibalism occurs between unborn siblings inside the mother's belly, not unlike parasitic twins, which we will discuss in another video. Oophagy, as it is scientifically known, is typically common in some carnivorous species, where multiple embryos are created during impregnation, with the more developed embryo being the aggressor. The first to develop consumes their underdeveloped siblings as a source of nutrients, driven primarily by a natural instinct, as opposed to a predatory tactic typically seen in the wild. This behavior has been seen in several shark species, such as tiger sharks and nurse sharks. Individuals that have hatched inside the mother shark eat successive batches of unfertilized eggs that are still being ovulated by the mother. Since some females can have more than 2, sometimes as much as 6 ovulating eggs, multiple siblings could be performing the act, although only one generally remains. Japanese brown frog tadpoles have been shown to exhibit cannibalism in a high-stress environment. Shifting their morphology plays a key role in their survival, creating bulkier bodies when put into environments where more developed tadpoles were present, to make it difficult for the individuals to swallow them whole. Diet shifts between different stages of development have also evolved to decrease competition between each stage, thereby increasing the amount of food availability, so that there is a decreased chance that the individuals will turn to cannibalism as an additional food source. In the insect world, oophagy can be used to describe the destruction of non-queen eggs in nests of certain social wasps, bees, and ants. It has been observed to increase energy circulation and provide more dietary protein. The northern paper wasp use oophagy as a method to establish a dominance hierarchy. Dominant females will eat the eggs of subordinate females, such that they no longer produce eggs, possibly due to the unnecessary expenditure of energy and resources. This behavior has also been observed in some species of bees, where the queen will eat larvae deposited by workers, or eject them from the nest in order to maintain dominance over her colony. In some species of eusocial wasps, the reproducing female will commit infanticide and feed the younger larvae to her older brood. This occurs under food-stressed conditions to ensure that the first generation of workers emerges without delay. In bees, some workers police others to prevent unwanted and unplanned reproduction. If it is detected, workers will cannibalize unauthorized laid eggs. However, certain contingencies are at play to prevent unnecessary cannibalism. Queen-laid eggs, for example, have a different scent than worker-laid eggs, allowing workers to differentiate between the two, permitting them to nurture and protect queen-laid eggs rather than cannibalizing them. Another form of close-knit cannibalism is filial, where a specific type of size-structured cannibalism has the adults eat their own offspring. Although most often thought of as parents eating live young, filial cannibalism includes parental consumption of stillborn infants and miscarried fetuses, as well as infertile and still incubating eggs. Further evidence also suggests that occasionally filial cannibalism might occur as a byproduct of cuckoldry in fish. Males consume broods, which may include their own offspring, when they believe a certain percentage of the brood contains genetic material that is not theirs. Vertebrate examples include pigs, where savaging accounts for a sizable percentage of total piglet deaths, and most commonly with hamsters and other rodents. This is generally performed to conserve or reuse the spent nutrients on the failed offspring, and to investment in future reproductive success. Another hypothesis for this behavior is energy-based, as found in fish, where adults eat their offspring when they themselves are low on energy. This has been supported by experimental evidence, showing the following species of male sticklebacks, male darters, and male sphinx blenny fish, all consume or absorb their own eggs to maintain their physical conditions. A third hypothesis is that it increases density-dependent egg survivorship by helping the other eggs make it to maturity via thinning out the numbers. Possible explanations as to why this is so include increasing oxygen availability to the remaining eggs, deter the negative effects of accumulating embryo waste, and avoid attention from predators. It is not always the parent that cannibalizes the offspring. In some spiders, mothers have been observed to feed themselves to their brood as the ultimate provision from mother to children, known as matrophagy. In the desert spider, the mother is able to regurgitate small portions of food for her growing offspring. But after 1 to 2 weeks, when the progeny is more mature and requires more nutrients, they capitalize on their food source by committing matricide, eating their mother alive. Typically, offspring only feed on their biological mother as opposed to other females in the population. In many black lace weavers, a day after offspring emerge from their eggs, their mother lays a set of trophic eggs, or eggs that are unfertilized, which contain nutrition for the offspring to consume. However, this is a very limited resource, and thus, maternal cannibalism commences days later. The mother itself is biologically programmed to accept this fate, and she begins communicating with her offspring through web vibrations by drumming and gyrating, that she is ready for her final sacrifice. Through these behaviors, offspring are able to detect the best location for their premature fangs to conveniently consume their mother. They migrate towards her, and a couple of the spiderlings jump onto her back to consume that side. Despite this, the mother's defensive instincts are still partially intact, so she will jump and drum her legs to keep her offspring off of her. However, her more dominant maternal instinct will suppress her defense mechanism of fight or flight. All the while, her brood relentlessly continue attempting to get onto her back, which has softer skin for their underdeveloped fangs to pierce. As they eat her, they also release poison into her body, causing a hopefully quick death. The mother's body is kept for a few weeks as a nutritional reserve. In some spiders, mating causes an increase in the mother's production of digestive enzymes to better digest her prey. Consequently, she is able to retain more nutrients for her offspring to consume later. The mother's internal tissues, specifically her gut, start to slowly degrade during the incubation period of her eggs. Think of this as a variant of mammals producing milk, but more fatalistic. After her offspring hatch, she regurgitates her degraded and already liquefied internal organs as food for her young. Meanwhile, her other tissues continue to degrade into a liquid state to maximize the amount of nutrients from the mother's body that her offspring will be able to obtain. As degradation continues, nutritional vacuoles form within her abdomen en masse. When the mother no longer has the ability to regurgitate, she offers her entire body for consumption. She begins by pressing her body onto her offspring, the aggressive act triggering their predatory reflexes to bite. Once their fangs are engaged, they consume her via sucking with their hypodermic fangs. After approximately 2 to 3 hours, the mother's bodily fluids are completely consumed, and only her exoskeleton remains. The African social velvet spider are species that eat their mothers and other adult females, which is unique since social spiders do not tend to exhibit cannibalistic life history traits. Velvet spider females liquefy their inner organs and maternal tissue into food deposits. In these specific spiders, deceased females are often found shriveled with shrunken abdomens. Offspring suck nutrients primarily from the dorsal part of the adult female's abdomen, and she may still be alive during this process. At an evolutionary standpoint, offspring that engage in matrophagy benefit more than those that don't engage in this behavior. Furthermore, the progeny of females that escape matricidal cannibalism will lay a second brood that are significantly less successful than those that ate their mother. Hence, enhanced fitness of the mother accounts for the evolution of this unusual and extreme form of parenting. While cannibalism is sometimes seen as detrimental to a species, animals have evolved protection to prevent and deter potential predators of their own kind. Many amphibian eggs are gelatinous and toxic to decrease edibility. Often, adults would lay their eggs in crevices, holes, or empty nesting sites to hide their eggs from potential conspecific predators, which tend to ingest the eggs for an additional nutritional benefit, or to get rid of genetic competition. This safeguard is in place to maintain equilibrium, and as such, cannibalism exists to maintain this balance, only when the system becomes unstable.